Antares Avenue South Residence, Penrose Landmark, Treasures at Tampines Sengkang, Grand Riverfronts, One Pearl Bank. All these projects are increasing their price in the next few days. So what's happening here, you may ask? I'm going to show you the link of events that leads to the price increment and how you can utilize this knowledge for your advantage. So before I get started, in May this year, there was a government land sale GLS at Andass Avenue 1. There were 15 bidders and eventually the land was sold to UOL at a land price of 1,100 PSF per plot ratio. If we do the sums, we'll realize that the developers will have to sell the piece of land at roughly about 2,000 to 2,100 PSF, the project price. And other developers was thinking, wow, this project at Andass outside core region is selling at 2,000 PSF, whereas the current projects that is within the rest of core region are only going for 1,006 PSF, 1,007 PSF. I'm talking about projects such as Antares, Penrose, Momentum Park, and the such, and the likes. So prices, there's a disparity of prices, and developers are considering to increase their price. But that's not all. 2 months after this, in July, at Lantor, there was another government land sale, and this time now, the land sale was sold at 1.2 PSF per plot ratio. If you do the math, the project launch price will have to be roughly about 2,000, 2,001 PSF. Again, this Lantor project is going to be further away from RCR region, and yet the price is increasing. So developers are knowing that the prices have to go up. But the last straw happened last weekend on 24th of July at Pasir Ris 8. On Pasir Ris 8, what happened was the price was increased from the morning launch until the evening by many times and increased a total of 31.5%. In other words, if you had purchased a unit in the morning, you would have made 31.5% of the net profit within 1 day. So this was crazy. So after this incident, developers all understand that people have the pocket, have the appetite, but need the space, need the houses. So many of them came out and say, yes, we are going to increase price. So we have Antares, we have Avenue South Residence, Penrose, Landmark, Treasures at Tampines, Sengkang Grand, we have Riverfront Residences, we have One Pearl Bank, and many others. They give hints that they are going to increase price either immediately or by the end of this week. So back to you. How can you use this information to your advantage? Simple. Buy now before the price increase. Because if you buy before the price increase, once you bought it and the price increase, the differentiation will be your paper profit. Simple as that. Now I can help you to identify the project that can maximize your potential of getting the best profit out of your investment through my technical analysis. And you can give me a call to discuss what are the techniques that I use in order to identify what project that can potentially give you the highest return. So the solution is to buy the property before the price increase. Because if you buy the property now, before the price increase, once the price increase, the differentiation will be your net profit. Now the next thing you have to do is to contact me so that I can let you know what are the projects that can give you the highest possible rate of return based on analysis. Just give me a call at Andass of Pandas at 88-2088 and I wait for your call. If you are still hanging around, then I like you. Because just like me, you treasure knowledge to a pot of gold. You are not a gambler, you are an investor, you make sound, calculated risk assessment. So that is what I'm doing for you. For your information, I was a scientific engineer at A-Star, a scholar under them. Once I finished my bond, I came out and I spent the same research skill set on doing research for real estate investment. And so now I'm doing real estate investment strategy planning for my customers so that I can plan the roadmap for them towards their retirement plan. So back to you. So for our bonus element, let's take a case study of the government land sale that happened in May, Andass Avenue 1. Let's assume that the winner UOL walked away without winning the bid, what will happen? They would have left with 2 projects on hand, Avenue South Residence with 73% sold as of today, 27th of July, and they have Clavon, 86% sold, where they have 1 more project, but other than that, what other land bank do they have? Not much. The same applies to the 14 other developers who walked home that day without winning a single land. So what is on their mind is they need to buy something. So 3 things can happen from here. Developers definitely need to buy land. The land is scarce. So they will either fight for each other and increase the price, or the government will sell more land. But this is not very possible. I have my reason to say that most likely the government will not sell more land. I won't talk about it in this talk because it will take 1 hour. The second possibility is developers really need the land and government is not selling it. So instead of getting a green piece of land to develop from grass from scratch, they will get a brown piece of land, en bloc, tear it down and build it up. The problem with en bloc is each time you do an en bloc, for example, there's 100 units over there on that piece of land, you tear it down to the ground and you build up again to 200 units and now you sell to 200 owners. Smart, great, efficient. The problem is the government of Singapore has always have a very good control of the units. So they want to make sure that they do not have an oversupply or undersupply of property houses in the market. For example, in 2014, the government gave out news. They said they are going to build 500,000 houses by 2030. Why is it 500,000 houses and not 600? Why not 400? It's because if it is 600, there will be oversupply. If it is 400,000 houses, there's undersupply. So they actually did a very careful mathematical calculation to derive at this 500,000 houses by 2030. It's an intelligent specific number. But what happened in en bloc is when you have that development, 100 units, pull down, build up, become 200 units, the government lost control. Now suddenly they have 100 extra units. And what happened if you have an en bloc craze? Then you have many projects creating the same situation and there'll be too many supply of houses in the market, and government do not like that. Because if the government suddenly decrease their land sale to compensate for these extra houses, the en bloc will get even crazier, property prices will go crazier, and that is bad. So that brings us to the third possibility, cooling measure. So personally, I believe is going to happen is cooling measure. Government have to come out with cooling measure in the next few months. By cooling measure, the first thing that they'll do, I believe, is to lengthen the SSD. That is one of them, but the lengthen of SSD do not usually have an immediate effect. So they will do it, but they know it is not sufficient, so they'll do more than increment of SSD. I don't know what it is, I'm not going to postulate, but I do believe there will be cooling measure. And on top of that, let's bring back to ourselves. With this knowledge, with this hypothetical guesswork, intelligent guesswork, how can you make use of this information to your advantage? Well, if you are looking to buy a house, try not to buy after the announcement of the cooling measure. Try not to buy a house on the day of the announcement of the cooling measure because you'll be fighting with many others for the same units. Try to buy much before the announcement of any cooling measure. You hear it from me first, but this is my personal opinion. Now, coming back here, what I'm trying to do here is I'm just trying to put my passion into research, into real estate roadmap planning, so that I can help you to increase the odds of you making profit from your real estate investment journey. On my side, you are not required to pay me commission because when you allow me to bring you to a developer, the project that I've done analysis that they should make a good profit, then the developer will pay me commission instead. So technically, I'm a free agent to you and I benefit you to the developer and I get to bring bread to my family as well. Win-win-win situation. So again, my name is Andass of Pandas and I look forward to your call and my number is 88-2088. I'll see you. Cheers. Don't just watch. Call.